Hello and welcome to episode 21 of the Mr. Douglass Sports Show. I am your host, Corey Douglas, as always. We are now through week 6 in the NFL. The Cowboys are still in first place, but they are 2-4 after a ugly loss against the Arizona Cardinals on Monday Night Football for the whole world to see. And the trends continued for the Cowboys in this game. I thought that the defense actually started out playing not bad. I think Arizona's offense, they were kind of out of sync early in the game, especially Kyler Murray, who only completed 9 passes for the entire game. But once again, you have the offense turning the ball over. Ezekiel Elliott, 2 more fumbles on Monday night. And at this point, I was saying Monday night, it's time to bench him. You can't consistently have one of your supposed to be better players, one of your highest paid players continually putting the ball on the turf. And he's been doing that way too frequently this year. Those 2 fumbles for Zeke led to immediate touchdowns for the Cardinals. So the Cowboys have now given up 79 points off of turnovers for the season. They gave up 21 on Monday night. And now they're being outscored by 76 points off of turnovers for the season. I'll repeat that for you guys. The Dallas Cowboys are being outscored by 76 points off of turnovers this season. We are 6 games into the season. That is almost impossible to do. I know Zeke, after the game, he was real kind of torn up about it. And, he knows that it's unacceptable for him to be turning the ball over as much as he is. But at this point, it has to change. And one, thing that has always been the case here in Dallas is the lack of accountability. And nothing said lack of accountability more than Mike McCarthy's quotes at halftime when Lisa Salters asked him, "Okay, do you have to say anything to Zeke, about the fumbles, because this is now a consistent theme. He's done that, 3 or 4 times this season." And Mike McCarthy said, "Nope, he knows we need him." No, as the head coach of the football team, you have to get on to him about this and hold him accountable for continually putting your team in bad situations. And that next drive, after he fumbled the second time, they went with the Tony Pollard all the way down to, they got right around the 20, and they took him off the field to put Zeke back in there. They immediately started trying to force feed him the ball. And one thing I saw after Zeke that showed me it's in his head now is the fact that Zeke is known for finishing runs. He's a tough runner. He's a physical runner. He wants to punish defenders to let them know later in the game, this is what I'm coming with consistently. That wasn't there after he fumbled those 2 times. He was running out of bounds. He's avoiding contact. He wanted no parts of any type of physicality at that point. That tells me that it's in his head. That tells me that a coach needs to go up to him and be like, "Hey, pick him up, but also hold him accountable at the same time." Zeke has to be better, and I wouldn't be disappointed if I saw him getting less snaps going forward for the season. Also, staying with the offense, Andy Dalton. Last week I said that the season was not over because Andy Dalton is a capable backup quarterback. I'm off that train. 1 game was enough for me. I criticized Dak in the past for having a lack of pocket awareness. Andy Dalton is back there, and he's sitting back there, hopping around, just looking down the field, not feeling any type of pressure. And he's sitting back there like he's not playing with 5 backups on the offensive line. Because, as we know, Tyron Smith is out for the year. Lyle Collins is out for the year. Zach Martin went out with a concussion. Their starting center, Joe Looney, went out last week. He's going to be out multiple weeks. So, Andy Dalton just sitting back there like he has all sorts of time. You can't have that. You have to be able to get rid of the ball fast, and you have to be able to get rid of the ball not to just dump off to Ezekiel Elliott. Because throwing to Ezekiel Elliott has proven time and time again, it's not a productive way to move the ball on offense. Last night, 8 catches, 31 yards. That tells me he's getting less than 4 yards per catch. That is not productive. So Dalton has to be better. Michael Gallup, I praised you last week for the 2 big catches you made at the end of the game against the Giants. You drop a big touchdown before halftime when you could possibly be gaining some momentum. You're down 21-0. You catch that ball, you go into halftime 21-7. I mean, you get the ball first after halftime. You can possibly drive down, make it a one-possession game. You drop the touchdown. They have to settle for a field goal, 21-3 at halftime. And then the first possession of the second half, Andy Dalton throws a pick for the Cowboys' third turnover. It's mental mistakes for the Cowboys that they're making right now, and they're putting their historically bad defense in bad situations. I say this every week. The Cowboys' defense is historically bad, and the offense that is supposed to be the strength of this team is not helping them out. So let's just go over some of the historically bad defensive numbers. The Dallas Cowboys have allowed 14 passing touchdowns and 10 rushing touchdowns through the first 6 weeks of the season. The last time that was done by a defense was in 2005 by the San Francisco 49ers. You know what the 2005 San Francisco 49ers and the 2020 Dallas Cowboys have in common? That is the defensive coordinator, Mike Nolan. He was the defensive coordinator then. He's the defensive coordinator now. And this is one of my main concerns that I had coming into the season about a Mike Nolan defense. His defenses have historically been bad, but they've found a way to force some sort of takeaways. They don't do that on this team. The Cowboys are historically bad at that. So let's continue going on with the historically bad defensive numbers. The Dallas Cowboys have given up 218 points through the first 6 weeks. That is the 5th most allowed in NFL history by any defense, period. That is unacceptable. And when you look at the main reasons why this defense is terrible, it's assignment football. Darryl Worley on the Christian Kirk long touchdown. He's supposed to be playing in a cover 3. He's supposed to be back further than he is. What does he do? He plants his feet and lets Christian Kirk run right by him. And he tries to turn around and catch after him. It's too late. It's already over. Know your assignments. And it's just a trend that's continuing week by week by week. I don't know where they go from that because I see a lack of talent on the defense. And I said this coming into the season as well. Last year, the Dallas Cowboys and the Jones family, they put it on the coaches. They got rid of all the defensive coaching staff and they brought in new coaches. But now you got to look at the players. It's the players. You have DeMarcus Lawrence, who you paid, underperforming. You have Jalen Smith, who played well against New York, did not play as well against Arizona on Monday night. And I'm going to tell you right now, this Cowboys season, it's over. They're in first place right now, 2-4, but I'm telling you, they will not win this division. Now, the players are starting to leak out to the media on how dissatisfied they are with the coaching staff. Jane Slater from NFL Network said that one player told her that the coaching staff is completely unprepared. Another player told her they can't adjust on the fly. That tells me right now the locker room is in shambles and they're not going to be able to come out of this. And Mike McCarthy said after the game that this was the most prepared that they've been all season. You guys lost by 4 touchdowns. 38-10, and you're saying this is the most prepared you've been? Come on, Mike McCarthy. Comments like that, you can save those. Xavier Woods, a couple weeks ago, after giving up 300 rushing yards to the Cleveland Browns, he comes out and says, we're professionals. You can't expect us to play 100% with 100% effort, for 70-plus plays a game. Dude, you just gave up 300 rushing yards. Effort shouldn't be the last. It should be the last thing you are talking about to the media right now, and it's just a bad look overall. All I have to say about this game, I am calling the season over. I want to send Ben DiNucci at quarterback at this point. They need to tank, or I don't even think it's going to be tanking at this point. I don't think they're a very good football team, and the only reason that the playoffs are even a conversation right now is because the division is so bad. The NFC East is now 5-18-1 for the season. And it's so bad right now that there's a realistic shot, or it's mathematically possible that a 4-12 team could win the NFC East. It's mathematically possible. All right, so now before I move on to the Washington football team's matchup with the Dallas Cowboys next Sunday at noon, I'm going to hand out my game ball for Monday night's game against Arizona. And that game ball is going to Dak Prescott. Obviously, he went down with the nasty ankle injury last Sunday against the Giants. But what he was doing this season was, numbers-wise, was incredible. He still made his share of mistakes as well. But I think he found out last night just how much he was covering up for this Cowboys team and this Cowboys offense. And for them to be averaging 32.5 points, although they were still getting their ass kicked in those games as well, I think that a lot of people are going to realize, like, Dak Prescott's the least of our issues with the Cowboys. Now, like I said last week, I've been on record as maybe not the biggest Dak supporter, fan, whatever you want to call it. I try to keep it real with everybody on the team. But what we saw last night, or what we saw on Monday night against the Arizona Cardinals from Andy Dalton, salute to you, Dak. Get healthy. I'm glad to see that you're in good spirits. Hurry back, because obviously we need you. And at this point, get your money, man. It's bad over here, man, without you. So salute to you, Dak. Like I said, get healthy, and we'll see you next season, hopefully in the Cowboys uniform. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the Week 7 matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington football team. Washington is one of the worst teams in football. They give up 27 points per game on defense. But the thing about the Washington defense is they can get after the quarterback. And I just mentioned the Cowboys are playing with 5 backup offensive linemen. We'll see if Zach Martin can get out of concussion protocol to play Sunday. But if he cannot, I see this being a long game for the Cowboys. I don't think they'll be able to block up front. I don't think they'll be able to contain Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, the Washington's best offensive player. But my keys to the game, number one, I just mentioned it. You have to find a way to not let Scary Terry, Terry McLaurin make the big plays down the field. For the season, Terry McLaurin ranks 9th in the NFL in receiving yards with 487. He has 8 what they consider big plays, which is plays over 20 yards. So that's going to be the number one most important thing to worry about for Washington. My number 2 key to the game has to be blocking the Washington football team up front. Like I said, they have the ability to get after the quarterback, and the Cowboys have shown the ability to give up sacks. So you put those 2 things together, and it could be a long day for the Cowboys offense. For the season, the Washington football team has 16 sacks, which puts them 8th in the NFL in sacks. They give up 27 points a game, mainly because they give up a lot of big plays. They've given up 19 plays of 20-plus yards. So the Cowboys will have the ability to make some plays down the field. But if they can't block up front, you can forget about it, and it's not going to work. All right, and my number 3 key to the game, I feel like I'm saying this every week, but right now, with this defense the way in the shape it's in, and this offensive line in the shape it's in, you have to be able to hit first against one of these teams. I mean, at some point, you can't fall behind 21-0, 17-3, 29-10. At some point, you have to be able to hit first, especially against a team like Washington, where they can get after your quarterback. You have to be able to contain that pass rush, and the way you can kind of contain it is by staying balanced on offense and not getting behind the change. That means having successful first down plays and not getting yourself into 3rd and long situations, because if they get into 3rd and long situations against this team, I think you'll see 3 or 4 more turnovers, and you'll see another Cowboys loss. So those are my 3 keys to the game. Number 1, contain Scary Terry. Number 2, make sure you can block the Washington football team's front. And number 3, you got to be able to hit first in one of these games in order to be successful. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about some good football teams with my week going into Week 7 power rankings. Last week, they lined up like the Green Bay Packers, Kansas City Chiefs, Seattle Seahawks and Pittsburgh Steelers, with the Baltimore Ravens coming in at number 5. This week we have more changes, and I have KC back at number 1, the top spot. That was a great road win against Buffalo on Monday night. They really punched them in the mouth, and then they have Le'Veon Bell coming into the mix this week. So that offense becomes even more dangerous. My number 2 team for this week is the Seattle Seahawks, the only unbeaten left in the NFC. My number 3 team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They put a shellacking on the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are now 4-2 with losses to the Baltimore Ravens 38-6, and now the Pittsburgh Steelers 38-7. But the Steelers, this is the defense, got after Baker Mayfield, forced him into some bad decisions, got some takeaways, got some pressure on him, and forced him out of the game in the third quarter. My number 4 team is the Tennessee Titans. What Tannehill is doing right now, another 364-yard day, 4 touchdowns, Derrick Henry, 212 rushing yards. They are clicking on all cylinders right now, and they have a big showdown this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That game should be incredible. I am definitely looking forward to that one. And then number 5 comes in the Green Bay Packers, dropping from number 1 to number 5 this week. They get whooped in Tampa Bay on Sunday, 38-10. Aaron Rodgers throws 2 picks, no touchdowns, 160 yards. Tampa Bay's defense really showed up and played well. They really got after Aaron Rodgers. And one stat I saw for Aaron Rodgers for his career, or about Aaron Rodgers for his career, is he has an under 500 record when he trails at any point during a football game. So whether that be by 1 point, a touchdown, 10 points, whatever, he is under 500 with a 47% winning percentage in those situations. And when you compare that to quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, and some of those upper echelon quarterbacks, that is a surprising stat to me because all the quarterbacks mentioned, except for Aaron Rodgers, winning percentage is up around 60%. And for a quarterback that is as good as Aaron Rodgers, for him to have that record when trailing at any point in the game is almost incredible. That's my top 5 for this week. You have the Kansas City Chiefs, Seattle Seahawks at number 2, Pittsburgh Steelers at 3, Tennessee Titans at 4, and the Packers coming in at 5. Before I get to my Week 7 picks, let's go ahead and go over Week 6. I went 10-4 picks-wise. That brings me to 60-30 overall for the season with the 1 tie. This week gets kicked off with the New York Giants heading to Philadelphia on Thursday Night Football. Give me the Eagles to beat the Giants. And as much fun as that we can make about the Eagles being 1-4-1, I think they've played pretty well the last 2 weeks against 2 of the better teams in the AFC with the Pittsburgh Steelers last week and then the Baltimore Ravens this week. So give me the Eagles at home on Thursday night. Give me the Falcons over the Detroit Lions for the Falcons' 2nd straight win since firing Dan Quinn. Give me the Bills to beat the worst team in football, the New York Jets. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals to upset the Cleveland Browns and send them to 4-3. I'm not liking what I'm seeing from Cleveland right now. I don't think Odell Beckham wants to be there. Jarvis Landry, I don't think they want to be there. I think they're over Baker. So give me the Bengals at home to upset the Browns. Give me the Packers to beat the Texans to bounce back from their only loss this season. Give me the Saints at home against Carolina. Give me the Tennessee Titans to lose at home to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Give me the Seattle Seahawks to humble the Arizona Cardinals. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs in Denver to beat the Broncos. Give me the Patriots to bounce back at home against the San Francisco 49ers. Give me the Chargers to beat the Jaguars. Give me the Bucks on Sunday Night Football to beat the Raiders. And then give me the Rams to beat the Chicago Bears. I'm still not a believer in the Chicago Bears. They're just going to have to continue to prove me wrong every week because I still don't believe in them. I think Nick Foles is not very good, which I say every week. And I think the Rams should come out on fire after getting pretty much dominated against San Francisco on Sunday Night Football. And then lastly, give me the Washington football team to beat the Dallas Cowboys. Like I said, I just can't see the Cowboys bouncing back and crawling out of this hole. And I think the defensive front for the Washington football team is just going to be too much for the Cowboys offensive line. And Andy Dalton, he's going to have to show me he can perform better than he did on Monday night before I actually pick them to win a game. So yeah, give me the Washington football team to beat the Cowboys on Sunday afternoon. And that's going to do it for this episode of the Mr. Douglass Sports Show. I will catch y'all next week. Until next time, salute.